And you got to think that gave them the opportunity. The question is, have they converted? Have they put in the hours? Will they show up differently here in Seattle?
That is definitely the big question, and they can actually put an answer to that one right here, right now. Let's talk about FaZe, though, on the other side, who are looking to make things awfully hard for our G2 team. I think the big question coming into this is about the superstar Renegade, right? Is he going to lead FaZe to a world victory this time around? And it all starts with game 1 on day 1. I think it's so big. You know, he was the C9 superstar. FaZe took him. Is it enough for this roster clutch?
I absolutely think it's enough. I'm looking at this team to win this tournament this weekend. They are stacked with talent. They have confidence now after Orlando. They figured out, hey, we can compete with the top 4. And not only that, we might just be flat out better when we're playing our game. It starts with game 1. I'm expecting this team to come out hot, make some statements, and watch out for FaZe Clan this weekend, because I think if they get hot, the way these players play off emotion and off of momentum, this could be the most dangerous team at this tournament.
They very well could be, but what are you expecting right now, match 1 from FaZe? Are we looking to see that fully functioning FaZe roster, or are they going to be leaving a little bit in the tank against G2, respectfully?
I think FaZe are going to play every game that's on that main stage like it's their last game of this season. They are going to be coming out of the gates hot. They are prepared. And like Wes said, emotionally, this team, if they get that first win on the board, they can become that juggernaut that just cannot be stopped throughout a weekend. So much individual skill, so much talent as a unit, and every single piece seems to be working together. But now this is the tournament the roster was built for. They're going to have to perform. I'm looking forward to watching FaZe all weekend long.
Now we're looking at a head-to-head right now on map records for both of these two teams, and really my eyes go to that map 1 statistic, both exactly the same, so both teams know how to have a hot start, fairly even across the board. But what are you reading into that in terms of this series, do you think, Brav?
I think it'll really come down to game types for these two teams, right? And you have to think, with the enormous amount of game types that are in Halo Infinite, for anyone who isn't that dialed in, there is a huge abundance of game types here. Oftentimes there's only 10 or 11 total game types. Here we have 15 plus game types that are played. So teams cannot focus on all these game types equally. You need to prioritize which game types. You might not have been as hot in Orlando. You need to make sure you're coming into Seattle with really good game plans for each of those game types.
You do indeed. I'll tell you what, though, we do have a lot of incredible players up there, and it's very difficult sometimes to choose two to kind of, you know, compare. But this one's pretty easy because these two are roommates right now. So the comparison is definitely valid. But Barcode and Spartan, I want to talk about here. They have been rooming since Barcode has come over from ANZ and made that switch to North America. Bit of an interesting one here, Clutch, because, you know, so to speak, you're sleeping with the enemy, right? And it's difficult. You're trying to train, you're trying to practice, you're trying to go over things, and, you know, he's in the other room. So how are you feeling about that mentally, you know, preparing, going into the biggest event we have this season?
Yeah, this is one you don't want to lose and go home and then see the guy as you're going.
Locks are changed, you can't get in the door, yeah.
Absolutely. Spartan's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder here, and Barcode, I think he's too nice of a guy to, like, really,
right.
He might be like, am I stepping on your toes here? I don't want to beat you in the first series because you've given me the opportunity of housing. So a little playful banter there, but I don't expect that to really intertwine or affect either of their gameplays. I think that they're going to be focused on the task at hand. Control the controllables is what you say, right? It's your gameplay. Let the other guy play. I think they have a massive amount of respect for each other, and they're always playing together, so I'm fairly certain that they know each other's play styles. Don't be surprised when they end up in a lot of gunfights throughout the series.
I won't be. I'll be looking out for it for sure.
But is that going to be the peak of their ambitions, the peak of their abilities? And with CTF Catalyst game 1, which way does it go?
Well, Catalyst Capture the Flag is a very good game type for FaZe. They actually took down G1 in Orlando. And you know what I say about G1 and Catalyst Capture the Flag? They are one of the best. So if FaZe can beat them, I do believe they can beat anyone. You move on to Slayer Streets. It was one of G2's worst game types in Orlando, but then Stronghold's Live Fire, FaZe's absolute worst game type. So you've got a couple of bad ones in there for teams, and then it gets a little bit better as you go on further.
Well then, it's the Halo World Championships. Are we looking at a potential champion in FaZe? Can G2 upset one of the top 4? It all comes down to this. Will FaZe kick us off on the right note, or will they start slow? We're underway here, shields up, weapons hot!
Already Barcode showing why he is such a key element of this roster. Okay, is the last remaining player. It is still possible here for G2.
They have gotten the slaves, but Renegade's back off the respawn. Back once again with the Renegade Master. Barcode will put him down. But time is very much of the essence here. King Nick and Spartan, they're back once more, trying to bite off more than they can chew, but they connect, and they find a home. with 15 seconds remaining. Have FaZe done enough?
Surely it's enough, right? Surely G2 have got nothing left in the tank. They've thrown everything at them, but I think it's going to come down to these last few kills.
Straight Sick gets 2. Saving air. Can he get the flag grab? No, he can't. Kill for the 11th hour, but Straight Sick gets his hands on it. But have they given up too much resources? Can Barcode win this 1v1? Yes, he can. This is the moment, but he goes down. A time will run out, and FaZe Clan will get game 1.
And now you have a breather, because what an intense first game of the World Championship that was. Back and forth, flags pulled left, right, and center. Counter caps galore. FaZe, they outslayed G2 heavily, but G2 held their own when it came to that objective. They really timed their pulls correctly. They were efficient, G2. Just unfortunately couldn't really win those individual battles. It was a little bit too easy for FaZe to flood the map at times, but you've got to respect how close that was from G2. But have they put so much effort into that game 1 now? Like, going into a game 2, are you dejected? Are you a little bit frustrated? Or can you build from that? Can you say, we did so well. We've just only lost by 1 cap to a top 4 team, a FaZe Clan team who looked incredible at Orlando. You can become a superstar in this series, right? If you step up, if you can dominate FaZe Clan, if you can be the one who's getting 20+ kills, suddenly at a World Championship, you're a superstar. And then going on to the next season, you're going to be sought after, you're going to be looked at, you're going to be expected to perform that way as well. So there is always that added pressure. But I think when you look at what kind of Barcode has added to this team and his flair and his personality, there's a lot of fans now of this G2 roster. Not saying there wasn't before, but he's added a lot, and suddenly that adds a lot of extra eyes as well. If you can deal with that pressure, and if you can kind of mold that into some sort of energy so then you can push forward and make it confidence, then suddenly G2 become a very scary force. G2 have practiced. What can you do here in game number 2?
Have they corrected some of the errors? Have they ironed out some of the problems? Or will FaZe Clan roll them here and take a 2-0 series lead? It's about controlling the sandbox. It's about holding map control. And there are few better at the game than doing that than Spartan. As we roll into this one in game 2, can G2 bounce back? It's been nervy. You can see all of G2 up towards PD. Renegade, the first point of contact. Has he done sufficient damage? Drop wall will keep him in the game for now. The kill will come. It's a frag grenade from King Nick, and they double the lead.
Back and forth we go all game long. But eventually, the cream does rise to the top. And unfortunately for G2, they fall once more in the latter stages. So close, yet so far. And that is it's gonna be so difficult for them to try and manage that mentally. To know how close they are, but just not being able to get over that final hurdle. As for FaZe, they're just showing so much resilience when it comes to these late game plays. The confidence of Renegade there, just to throw those grenades, hold his ground, utilize the drop ball to stay alive.
Or are they about to sink to a 3-0 defeat the FaZe Clan on the opening day, in the opening game of the Halo World Championship? FaZe Clan, they've given a little bit. It hasn't been lights out. They haven't been firing hot. But this could just be a taster of things to come. And with Renegade playing lights out in game 2, there's no better place to start. G2 take control. How are FaZe Clan navigating this? I would love to get an Astro listening to find out.
Two small Argos. I'm getting shot in the back. I'm getting shot in the back. Barcode 1. Barcode's 1. I can get over. Guilty. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Nice, all dead, right?
All dead. Get A. Spawn the mobile beat. Spawn the mobile beat and get A.
I'm going in Nick right now.
Watch your big, Nick. I am.
Get info, guys. Get info.
Yeah, they're all spawning
Under this right now. Coming up next now. That's all you, John. I think he dropped Mud then.
Yeah, he's mud right now. You guys won, I'm dead. You guys won, man.
We give you two front green on me, Nick.
Watch out, guilty.
Sab on you, back green, sir.
Nice, 3 guys.
Sab is back green. Yeah, I'm here. He's in the middle.
You're in the middle. I'm close.
Nice.
One day,
Just
one
one
day,
day,
one day,
guys.
one day.
Watch out, screens go. Can we put pressure on this
Yeah,
guy?
we are.
Yeah. Back up. Yo, reset. Unite.
All right, fuck. There's two on me big.
I'm spice something.
All right, okay.
Unite.
Go next.
Sniper in 10. Sniper in 10, guys.
Yes, play picture of the sniper.
They might go bottom. They might go pillars.
Yo, cuts. You guys cuts. They're hitting. Big door. Don't be switch. Go help them, Tyler. One try cuts, Mike. One try cuts.
I'm here, John. Stay alive.
Cut still, guys.
Your back's up, kind of.
In cuts. Guilty, we come in. Watch out, cuts. Guilty, watch out, cuts. Savage, watch out, top mid, Mike. You stop cuts. Watch out, one shot.
John's winking. John's cuts.
Communication is so important, and you can hear the intensity in the comms from FaZe Clan, and in particular with Spartan calling out players top middle, putting real influence, real urgency in the communications. FaZe Clan are simply out-rotating them here.
Yeah, this would be quite the comeback of comebacks. But don't forget that Slytherin did blow a 160-point lead to Gryffindor in the House Cup, so you never know. Anything could happen. 241 to 52. Big decision. Let's see where they go.
One last brawl then. One last hurrah in this series, perhaps. Renegade gets one. That's going to stop this. Right in the death door. Backwhack comes through. They defend, they hold, and they win the series 3-0.
G2 gave it their best effort. And in maps 1 and 2, they didn't look far apart from FaZe Clan. But I think that FaZe have demonstrated they mean business here at the Halo World Championship. They have their eyes set on that trophy. And G2 were unfortunately the first ones in their warpath. How far can FaZe Clan go?
Well, I know Blaze has got Spartan up there for an interview, and I want to know, is Barcode getting maybe a discount on his rent?
You heard it right there. Make some love for Spartan and FaZe as the mastermind himself. They pick apart G2 in his shirt, he was saying, you know. Barco, your roommate, was he trying to look at y'all's scrapbook right there? Okay, you gonna give him a discount?
Nah, Alex is a great guy, man. Getting to know him as he, I met him at Kansas City, but getting to know him as he's moved in, he's like one of the coolest dudes I've ever freaking met. Just in general, not even just through Halo. I love that guy. He's super humble, just wants to get better and better. And yeah, even like after we would scrim, he would come over and he would like fist bump me, give me a hug in the back. Like he'd hug me over the back, dude. One of the most, dude, I love that guy, man.
I could definitely co-sign on that as well. We love some Barco. Now, coming to the series right here, it was a 3-0 for you, but it was a close one, especially in those first 2 games. How is it that FaZe Clan stays so composed?
I mean, we just talk about our game plans and trying to stick to the game plans, and even when stuff is like kind of going sideways, we're just like, all right, you know, everyone reset, and that's our biggest thing coming into this weekend is just being able to reset and stay composed.
Yeah, and the casters is talking about just watching your gameplay. You guys are always in a perfect position that you need to be in as a unit, and with you guys being together for 2 events so far, how you feeling as a whole with the squad here being at the World Championships?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're way better than we were at Orlando. I think at Orlando, like, if you looked at us on Saturday on Orlando, dude, I think we might have been the best team there. And then we just came out flat Sunday. But, you know, coming into this tournament, we wanted to kind of build off of that Saturday. And we've put a lot of work in, man. We barely took any days off, maybe 1 at most in between Orlando and now. And we just really kind of dove into our worst game types and our bad habits. And we're just going to try to get better with those things every single series, starting with that one.
All right, I love to hear it. I hope you guys hold pace. And lastly, anything you want to say to the awesome fans out there who've been supporting you?
Bro, this crowd is amazing already, man. And like, I already know that this crowd's gonna fill out even more throughout the weekend. I've been getting awesome tweets and just hearing people scream, man. There's nothing like a crowd, dude.
Day 1, okay? That's gonna do it for me and Sparty on the stage. Lottie, take it away.